We're back on the Exit 52 podcast, presented as always by Jimmy's Famous Seafood. It is Monday, June 9th, 6/9. It's 6:09 p.m. as we're firing this up. How about that? A little bit of provenance.
I literally today, I looked down at the date and I was like, oh, it's 6/9. And you know what? I'm very proud of not just my timeline. I didn't see one like corny 6/9 joke.
It kind of made me, it made me a little sad because, like, looking at the TL on the Everything app today, there's just a lot going on. Maybe some dark stuff that we don't have to get into. It kind of made me a little missing the halcyon days of when it used to be called Twitter and people were just kind of trying to get jokes off. I feel like things are a little heavy right now. We could use some, as stupid as it is, I feel like we could use some levity. Maybe that's what Happy Gilmore 2 is going to be for us. Or tires, things of that nature.
Tires, yes. Happy Gilmore 2. God, no. If you're expecting that to save any civilization, then I don't know. You got another thing coming, brother. But
well, comedy's been legalized, so the gloves are going to come off.
Sure, I guess, yeah. But yeah, no. Happy 6/9 to everyone that celebrates, observes, and all that other fun stuff.
Yep, I know you'll be
half my work day. I was gonna say I spent half my work day Googling wrestling costumes. So,
oh yeah, that's another story.
We'll talk about that later.
Yeah, we sure will. I have no idea where I'm even going to start with that, but that's a conversation for about 2 right here. Yeah, we are here. It is 6/9, and we are here to discuss the Orioles closing out their West Coast road trip in Sacramento, in a ballpark that, man, that was quite an interesting watch, I would say. It's where the Athletics are going to be making home for the next 3 seasons, maybe beyond that. Who the hell knows what's happening with this Athletics franchise right now, but they did put it to the O's a little bit in this series with a competitive first game that Mason Miller shut the door on at the end there. God, that guy is just incredible to watch. You can really see where the hype train started up a couple of years ago. Orioles, of course, stormed back on Saturday night, win 7-4, and then just kind of a disappointing game that they just could not get out of second gear there on Sunday, losing 5-1. So before we get into all that, 6/9 and all that notwithstanding, how are you, my friend?
Good. Again, I'm very happy that the West Coast trip is over. Like we talked about, the 9:40 starts, those were rough in Seattle. That 20 minutes extra in Sacramento. I Saturday again. You know me. I'll watch 155 plus games a year. I'm good for at least a couple innings here or there, or on every game usually. Saturday night, I got out of the shower and I saw like 3 pitches. And it was like 4-1, 4-1 maybe, or 4-9. I forget what it was. And I passed out. I was like, I'm exhausted. So I missed that entire comeback. I missed it all. But that 10 o'clock, those 10 o'clock starts were eating me alive. So
which really sucks. Yeah, which sucks for tonight's episode because I stayed up. I made like a conscious effort on Friday night, 10:05 p.m. East Coast time, first pitch. I made the conscious effort to stay up for that full thing. Of course, that's the one they lose. And then I go out and I play this initially rain-drenched, and then it turned into this hot, muggy, sunny round of golf down in frickin' Mitchellville. It's like an hour drive, come back, and then, rest up. And I'm telling myself I'm going to stay up again. To be fair to me, I probably got halfway through that one. And then I did actually, I fell asleep just with the laptop on in front of me and just the game just running in front of me. And then I woke up. And just in a haze, Colton Cowser just homered. I think that one was to go ahead and take the lead, that they would go on to wind up winning. So I caught some of that one. But yeah, man, that just you play a full day of golf out in the sun and you're trying to stay up for past midnight. That just takes it out of you. It's not going to happen for me, at least. And then of course, Sunday they dropped that 5-1 game where Tomo Sugano didn't have his best stuff, but he also wasn't helped out, I don't think, very much. And then the offense, a bit of a no-show, which thankfully I'd say that's a lot further and fewer between than it used to be. I feel like we've seen plenty of those games early on this season, particularly when they were struggling, especially kind of at the nadir of all of that. But as much as it sucked to see, I would say overall, I mean, like a pretty competitive series. Obviously, this Athletics team is not much better than the Orioles team. In fact, they're worse by record right now at 26-41. So I don't know. It was just kind of a little bit of a slap fight. Unfortunate way to close out a overall successful 4-2 West Coast road trip. Mancelino said, I'll take that every day, something to that effect. So, yeah, nice overall to see. But I feel like it would have felt like the momentum continued rolling if they had managed to scrape out that first game or found a way to win game 3 and you at least win the series coming into what's going to be a very difficult set against the Tigers in Baltimore.
Yeah, I tweeted it yesterday too, and Mancelino kind of had the same energy. I think if anyone would have told you, hey, they're going to go 4-2 on this road trip, you take that any day, and you say, yeah, it's a West Coast trip. It's never easy to win out there, especially you're traveling across the country. It's not a good time. And the Orioles went 4-2. Like I said, nobody would be upset at that. And I think it's the way that it happened. Like I said, I went into it thinking if they win 1 in Seattle and take 2 in, 2 out of 3 in Sacramento, I think that's kind of a realistic approach. And then they went out and they swept Seattle. And you're like, okay, nice. We're talking like, oh, they could get to 8 games under, or 9 games under, whatever it was. I think it was 8 at the time. If they can sweep, Oakland or it's Sacramento, but that's not how it went. Like you said, that it was a slap fight. I think is a good one. That game Friday, where they lose 5-4, I think it was.
Yeah.
That was, and there were people who were like very upset at that loss, being like the old Orioles are back. This is it. And it was like I thought they played fine. I thought Oakland just played better. Like they didn't lose that. They didn't like dry hump a ball around the field and lose the game themselves. Like they got beat that game. Like that's what happened. Like it's okay. That happens. It's going to happen more. They're going to lose more games. Like that's just a baseball loss. And obviously they had the comeback on Saturday, which was awesome. And again, like we talked about in the group chat, it was something that we hadn't seen a lot of, like except for the last couple of weeks, is like that kind of, okay, they're down in the 5th or they're down in the 6th, then they're slowly, they're coming back and they're getting the hit and they're getting this and they're getting shutdown innings. So that's always great to see them kind of form a comeback and be able to pull one out. And then, like you said, Sunday, they couldn't get anything going. And they had a couple errors and they couldn't drive guys in and all that. And that was kind of it. But Andrew has a great point here. The catch Friday night, I forget the guy's name. It's not Lawrence Butler in center. The guy who made that catch, that saved the series for the Athletics. And that won them the game. Mateo, that would have scored 2 and probably put him on third, maybe, with who knows where that ball would have ricocheted. But that ball, that was an incredible catch. You won't see many catches better than that. That kind of turned the series and the game around.
I think it was Denzel Clark.
Yes. And he slammed into that wall very, very hard. And you could see it moved a little bit, but those walls really do not give. And Palmer called it, he was like, he may feel okay now, but like that, he's going to feel it in like an inning or two. It's exactly what happened. He came out of the game, but you don't want to see him hurt, but I mean, that was an incredible catch. That was just like nothing you can do. You tip your cap and, crap on Jorge all you want, but he gave that ball a ride and it just got hauled in. But, even though I want to say Sacramento, Oakland Athletics, whatever, they had lost, I think it was 21 of 23 coming into that game. And then of course it scored 14, I think on Thursday or Wednesday, whatever it was. And they found their footing a little bit, but I don't know. I mean, you could see there was a couple of missteps by the Orioles. Carlson had that ball in left field that he kind of just got under and then like spun around and it landed on the other side of him. He misplayed a ball that still eventually got, was an out at that play at home, but I don't know, just some weird, funky things. I do think a lot of it had to do with like, we've never been here before. We've never played here before. We've never even played in the minors here. Like they said, Carlson played there in like high school and stuff. So I don't know. That's just, I think you chalk that up and just say it's a weird fluky series. Like you said, you take a step back and they were 4-2 on a West Coast road trip. I think you take that any day and that's, it would still be nice to have won that series, but I'm not going to complain about a 4-2 road trip, even though they do need to win every series they can and win every game they can. But it's not how the cookie crumbled, but I'm not upset at a 4-2 West Coast trip at all. And now you hope that they can, take 2 out of 3 from the Tigers before they get Scooble on Thursday. So we'll see how that goes.
Yeah, no, I mean, it felt like looking back on, I'm trying to like just keep perspective over the overall season. I know there's still a lot of dooming going on the Everything app that I saw, which is like, again, fan how you want to fan. I don't really care. It's kind of a lost season to me either way at this point, or at least that's just how I'm psychologically approaching it. But I don't know. This just felt like a team, even just a couple of weeks ago, that just had a spiritual malaise around it. Like it felt like they just had a black cloud hanging over them. And I don't know, like when they come back and win that game on Friday, like I made the point. I know it's only one game out of the series, but that's just a couple of weeks ago, a month ago, this team gets swept and it's probably not even close. I just feel like they showed a lot of fight in that one. They showed a lot of fight in the Friday game, which Jackson Holiday, you get a home run out of Dylan Carlson early on, which is really cool to see in his kind of homecoming there. He's from the Sacramento area. A couple of these guys, just really connections all over the place. He had Luis Arias out there for the Athletics, which is cool. Ramon's brother, who had a nice series. So I don't know. It was overall, like, they're showing fight. They're showing signs of life. I know it's not against a good team, but you just gotta, like you said, 4-2 overall on the road trip is good. And again, it does really, really suck to drop that first game. But again, it's just, you get yourself into a situation with Mason Miller coming in there and Heston Kjerstad with just possibly the worst
at bat
in MLB history. I mean, just 3 pitches, all of them strikes. I think they were all in the same spot inside, and he's just chasing it, like, hacking at it. It was crazy.
That second pitch, I got a text from someone who said that's the most embarrassing, like, swing and miss I've ever seen, ever. And he missed that ball by 8 inches. Like, and there's like, again, Mason Miller is great. He's very, very good. He throws 103 and he's disgusting. He's just a physical freak. Like, he should not be that big and that strong and that fast and throwing the ball that hard. But when he's throwing that nasty breaking stuff at you too, that's impossible to hit. But, like, at least Jackson was the next batter after Kjerstad, I believe. And he fouled a couple off. He fouled 103 off, and put up a fight at least. He ended up striking out at 103, I believe, a little above the strike zone. It was up a little bit, but he put up a fight. Heston seemed like he went up there with no plan of attack. Like, here's what I'm going to look for. Here's what I'm going to sit on. He was like, I'm swinging. I'm going up there and I'm going to swing out of my shoes. And you could tell. Because, again, he was nowhere close on any of those pitches. And that was the disappointing thing. Like, no one's mad at you for striking out against Mason Miller. But somebody said, they tweeted, they were like, that at bat ruined the rest of the game for them. Because it was just like, he just kind of like gave up, it seemed like. Where it's like, I'm not going to hit this. I'm just going to kind of swing away. And that's exactly what it seemed. But yeah, he was disgusting. And again, anytime you're facing him twice in a series, the odds are stacked against you. You're already behind the 8 ball a little bit. So, and good for them. I mean, Kotze, went to him with what? I think 1 out in the 8th, and they got the 5-out save out of him. And that's what they needed. He was nasty. He was awesome. And you kind of just tip your cap. Again, no one is upset at, like, oh, I can't believe you didn't hit off this guy. That's what happens when it's 103. But yeah, Heston, man, that was pitiful, awful, disgusting. Just again, I said it was the worst at bat I've ever seen.
That
was bad.
Yeah, I guess, like, that notwithstanding and Sunday notwithstanding, like, where my overall encouragement comes from is that this is a much more, again, over those first 2 games, a much more live series from an offensive perspective, which is good to see. I mean, you're scoring 4 runs in that first one and 7 in that second one. I mean, that's huge. I mean, if you get in competitive games, like again, I'll make the comparison again, like a month ago, like it just, you're not seeing these type of numbers, and it's still not with a full lineup. I mean, Westberg's not going to be with this team for another couple of days at the earliest. So I don't know. It's
tomorrow, baby.
Yeah. Okay. Tomorrow, then we'll be very excited about that. But I guess where I would be a little concerned is with the pitching side of things, where Dean, kind of a tough one in that first game, goes 5.1, allows 8 hits and 5 earned runs. So those 5, obviously the bullpen comes in and they do their job. All the 5 came from Dean, 1 walk, 2 strikeouts. Game 2. And this is probably where I think you and I, maybe if Uncle Charlie, our guy, doesn't get off to the start that he gets off to, where he just gets absolutely beat up and throws like 30 pitches plus in the first inning. only goes 2.1, allows 6 hits and 4 earned runs, walks 4 guys, 5 strikeouts. Again, he always finds a way to get his strikeouts in there, but he just gets guys onto the base paths, and that feels like that's the end of it. But yeah, I mean, that obviously that's very concerning, because it's like, well, Charlie had a couple nice starts in a row there. Are we now trending back towards the other side of things? I think the evidence would probably point to yes, just given the overwhelming sample size being much more in the direction of what we saw there than what we saw in those 2 good starts. And then Tomo Sugano, not his best stuff on Sunday either. 4.1, allows 8 hits, 3 earned runs, 1 walk, 2 strikeouts. So not really terrible from him overall. That was more of a bullpen issue, I feel like. But again, errors in that one too. So Sugano, I wouldn't totally throw the baby out with the bathwater on that one. But Morton, just concerning. I mean, it's a blow up spot. Every pitcher is allowed to have that, but he does not have that benefit of the doubt. And then Dean, I mean, weather's nicer. They're out in Sacramento. You'd hope that he would be able to, put together a little bit better of an effort than he did there, but he wasn't. And yeah, it's a little concerning right now with the offense finally starting to tick up a little bit. You'd like to just get 2 good pitching performances each series, and you'd hope that you could win both of them. But I'd say overall, just a rough weekend for the starting pitching rotation.
Yeah. And again, they were so good. The starters, everyone was good in Seattle. And I know the bullpen, I think their first run they gave up in like 18 or something innings was Baker's home run yesterday when they were already down 4-1. But the bullpens pitched their asses off the last couple of weeks. And like you had said, the starters had gone, I think it was a stretch of like 10, 12, 14 games, something like that, where they had been very, very good. They had a very low ERA. I think it was like a 1.67 in their last like 5 or 6 games or something. And then, yesterday this series, again, for whatever reason, I don't know if it was the stadium, the ballpark, how it's set up, where they were warming up. I mean, you saw the videos of the guys having to walk to the outfield to go take batting practice mid-game. Like, even I know, like Friday, I think it was Friday, the beat reporters are tweeting like they're walking across the field as the fireworks are going off, and they're like, this is very strange. Like, again, so maybe that has something to do with it. Again, everybody seemed off just a little bit. I don't know, but yeah, it was the pitching, you obviously want it to be better, and that this kind of went back to the like, oh, okay, well, now we're down 3-0 and it's the first, or now we're down this, or it's bases loaded and 1 out in the first inning, and you're like, shit, how are we going to get through the rest of this game?
And you could maybe attribute that to the fact that they would have had to do that twice in a row, because like I said, Morton went out there and just filled his pants, and then it had to be a shootout from there on out. It's hard to like do that 2 games in a row, especially when you're not on your regular body clock.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, the Sugano one that you mentioned, he was not helped out by his defense. Gunnar had a, I mean, it was an error, but it was a hard, I mean, he kind of backhanded it, and that's a tough play. Emmanuel Rivera, Carol talked about it in the chat, but I mean, he was olaying the balls. He is setting himself up. He was a fun story very early on, and he has not done a thing.
Why is it that mistakes come into with these teams? Like, it feels like when a guy fucks up, then he just goes out there and it's just back to back. Like he's approaching a full Mansky with a mistake. Like, whether a guy misses something in the outfield and then he'll just like strike out, not calling Heston out. I feel like we've seen that from him this season. And then, it feels like defensive miscues kind of tend to come one after the other. Just a bit of a non sequitur. But yeah, we saw that from Manny, and not good stuff.
No, that was not. Again, I think he is setting himself up for a nice DFA, I believe, tomorrow when Westberg is back. But here you go. This is a friend of the program, Jacob Calvin Meyer, in the Orioles. 11 games before arriving in Sacramento, their starting rotation posted a 2.56 ERA. Only one of those 11 games featured a starter allowing more than 3 runs. All 3 Orioles starters this weekend, Kramer, Morton, Sugano, have allowed at least 4 runs. So again, they just the starting pitching just didn't have it. And this lineup, I've been tweeting about him all weekend. I love this kid, Jacob Wilson, who is an absolute. I got to pull up his numbers. He's Jack Wilson's son, Jack Wilson, Pirate legend. This kid is fucking unbelievable. Listen to these numbers. Do not sound real. And every time the Athletics needed a hit, there was a guy on second. Jacob Wilson was up. His last 7 games, he's batting .567, 17 hits in 7 games. His last 15 games, he's batting .460. He has 29 hits in his last 15 games. His last 30 games, he has 50 hits, is batting .413, and his on-base percentage is .459. Those are like legitimately video game numbers. He's going to win the Rookie of the Year. He is I think he's second in hits in baseball.
He had 7 hits in this series alone.
Yeah, that even seems low. It seems like every time I don't remember seeing him get out one time. Like, he was awesome. And again, it seemed like anytime they needed him, he was coming up and getting a hit and ended up on second. It's like, this guy is, thank God the Orioles aren't in the AL West, because he is going to be a pain for those teams until he gets traded to the Yankees or something like that. And we got to deal with that. But the Orioles
get your house in order. Baseball, you've got 2 teams playing in minor league stadiums this season. You've got small market teams that cannot even, or small market fans that can't even watch their team. You've got the Orioles, who can't re-sign anyone for whatever reason, and then the Yankees and the Dodgers just get everyone. Yeah, sick league we're running here, Manfred. Let's figure it out.
Yeah, let's make sure he doesn't come to the East Coast. But yeah, he was again. The Athletics, like I said, credit to them. Lawrence Butler is heating up at the right time. He's an awesome player too. They've got a lot of good players and
talented lineup here. I mean, and they're leading off. Wilson. They still have Rooker, which I forget about, and that guy's just been a beast for a long time. Soderstrom is solid. They've got Max Muncy in the mix. I mean, I feel like it's been a little while since he's been a huge name, but solid player still.
Different Max Muncy. Same birthday. It's one of those there's 2 Max Muncies. Yeah.
I didn't know that. You're telling me now for the first time.
Yeah.
That's crazy. I was Max Muncy, huh?
I think they have the same birthday. It's one of those very weird coincidences. But yeah, they just, and obviously they were playing god awful baseball, and they got hot at the right time. And they've won now 3 out of 4, which is whatever. Not like they're going on a run, but the Orioles just couldn't get anything going. And like I said, it starts and ends with starting pitching. I did like seeing, obviously the bullpen was lights out, and they were really good. And for the most part, the defense, except for some of the crappy errors, but the defense played well. I mean, except, you had Carlson dropping the ball, but like I said, he came back and he hit Gunnar on that cutoff. Gunnar makes a great throw home, and Maverick Hanley got steamrolled at home plate. Watching that replay the next day, I was like, holy shit. It's I definitely understand why they challenged it to see about if he was blocking or not, but what a play by him. And yeah, I mean, you talked about that black cloud that was kind of hanging over top, and it doesn't seem to be there anymore. And I agree with you. And maybe some of that is Colton Cowser coming back, because again, the good vibes started when he was back in Seattle, and that home run he hit, I guess Saturday night was 455 to right center field. That is a shot and a half. So, oh yes, Andrew brought this one up too. I had this tweet pulled up from, again, friend of the program, JCM. The Orioles, listen to this stat about them with against lefties. The worst teams versus left-handed pitching in MLB's divisional era, which is since 1969. Nice. They are number 1 with the lowest OPS of all time, 559. 559 OPS against lefties. The 1971 Brewers, 574. A little down the list are the number 5. At number 5 is the 2025 Colorado Rockies. You may know about them. They have a 589 OPS against lefties. So they are better against lefties than the Orioles are. And the Orioles spent a lot of time, or a lot of money, to get better against lefties, and have gotten significantly worse. They are now the worst of all time. They're 3-12 on the year versus lefty starters. Yesterday's lefty starter had an ERA in the 7s as well. So that shapes up nicely for them facing one Tariq Skubal on Thursday, who I still think they're going to hit. I think they're going to hit him. They seem to hit the good guys, but they can't touch the guys who should be working at Geico.
It did warm my heart to see Jackson Holiday homer against a lefty, though. That was
he started off 2 for 2 in that game, I believe. Left on left double, and then a left on left 430-foot home run to dead center. That was very impressive. And
I hate to pour dirt on the grave of Hyde. I liked the guy overall, but some good memes going around on the Everything app about Jackson Holiday homering off of a lefty. Who knew?
Yeah, who could have seen that coming? But no, yeah, I mean, Jackson's awesome too. And I talked to we tried to get Dallas Braden on. He was busy today, but I texted him yesterday and I asked. I was just like, because I texted him Friday. I said, I hope you're ready. And he said, you're about to catch the swinging A's at the wrong time. And boy, was he right. So I just sent him the throw up emoji yesterday. And his response back was, got that ass. He said, blah, blah, blah. He said Jackson would never see a ball from him. He was like, I wouldn't throw him anything. Like, I just wouldn't do that. And he said the home run was sick. So that's Dallas's in-depth scouting report. But
there we go.
Yeah,
that was reads text from Dallas Braden.
Yeah, that was again, it's cool to see Jackson really come into his own. I'm voting my ass off for him for the All-Star game. I think he deserves to be there, and we'll see. But yeah, that 430 bomb was pretty sick, pretty sick. So yeah, I don't even know how to pronounce this, but yeah, Westberg likely back tomorrow. O'Neill and Sanchez, I think, coming in the next couple of days. But Laureano had a great series too. We didn't even talk about that. I didn't realize. I think they said he had 205 home runs for the A's. I know he played there a long time, but that's a lot of home runs. So
yeah.
And he had the one this series that was off the fists. It was like in on the hands, and he really got under that. That ball was very, very high. I didn't think that was getting out at all. But yeah, that's it was good to see him. He's been awesome. He's been very, very good in his limited time here. He's playing well, and the Orioles need a guy like that. So same thing with Carlson. So they're getting help from those. I said they're big time like Aaron Hicks vibes right now from both of those guys combined. So they're helping out, and they're doing their part. It's that meme, like, I'm doing my part, and then it's Heston Kjerstad. Like, I was
going to say the good thing. Yeah, it's great to have an Aaron Hicks on a team where you're fucking stacked with all-stars and you're going to go on to win 103 games. That, having two of them on a team that's going to struggle to break 80, it's tough. But no disrespect to Laureano or any of these guys.
Yeah,
no disrespect.
He's a fourth outfielder who's playing. He's playing every day now. So
that's where you're at. Got to be honest, I'm a little taked out. I really don't have much on this series. It just seems like kind of a flush it. Move on to the Tigers and try to just keep yourself on life support as much as you can. Try to do what you can, and like you said, of course they're going to hit Scooball. What can you do against the other guys that they've got in that rotation? That remains a question. Do you have anything parting thoughts wise before I close this thing out?
It was nice to see Adley kind of keep it going. Again, small sample size. He's hitting 370 over the last 7, 281 over the last 15. So it's not, he didn't put on the show that he did in Seattle, but obviously you can't expect that all the time. But again, he's swinging it well. Gunnar got going a little bit. Somebody mentioned earlier the Gunnar like trip around the bases, the stolen base that he got to jump on. He was halfway to second before that pitcher had even let the ball go. So that was awesome. And then he scored brutal send, I thought, by Buck Britton. I thought that was a awful send. And Ryan Blake on Orioles Fans Problems Twitter had screenshotted some of them. He wasn't even at third yet, and I think it was Rooker in left field, and the guy was throwing the ball in, and it was just like, holy shit, dude! Like, he should have been out by 10 feet, and he really just gave it his all, and had a great slide to get in there. So it was nice to see him get going again a little bit. Kowser slowly but surely getting going with the home run, and then again we got Westberg coming back on Tuesday tomorrow. So let's hope that this thing can kind of slowly just start taking your baby steps. And again, if they can, take the series versus the Tigers, then you get an Angels team that is still just, let me see what they are doing. They're 4 games under 500. They're 5-5 in their last 5. In their last 10, they've lost 1 in a row. They're nothing special at all. They are 18-18 on the road. So you hope that they don't, get something going there, but like O'Hearn said a couple weeks ago, like, you really just have to take a game by game and make up a game or two per week and just kind of see where you are in a couple weeks. And I know the trade talk is kind of getting a little louder, and Bordick was on Glenn Clark's show today saying you got to trade O'Hearn, for anything you can get for him. His stock will never be higher right now, and that's true. So again, it's all up to the Orioles on how much they're going to sell, So we'll see how it goes. But the Tigers just took 2 out of 3 from the Cubs in a massive series at home, and hopefully now you can catch them on kind of like an exhale, and maybe they're what am I trying to say? Their guard is down maybe a little bit, being like, oh, we're going to go into Baltimore, have some crab cakes, and we'll keep this going. So maybe you catch them on a bad week, maybe the O's can sneak up on them and take this. So I don't know. We'll see. It'll be good, but I don't know. We'll see.
Yep. Okay. Well, if that's all you've got, that is certainly all I've got on this one. Like I said, didn't really get to watch the one win in this series, and the other two, one of them is very groggy, and then the third one was just kind of a lazy Sunday. So not a whole lot to say on it, but overall, like we'll just keep hanging our hats, hang the banner. Successful West Coast road trip, 4-2. Put that one up
Still
on the
watchable.
warehouse.
Still watchable.
Watchable. Yeah, we'll go with that. Thank you all for hanging with us here in the chat. Tonight, we will be back later in the week to recap all the action against the Tigers. If you want to be clued in for that, subscribe to the channel here if you're not already. Like all our videos, comment on all of them as they come out. Find us on social media at Exit52 Podcast on X. I am at Jake Louque. That's Louque. Eric at EDITTI22. Brian at Barstool Banks. Taylor at Taylor Smythe 10. And Spenny at Ravens 4 Dummies. That is the number 4 in the middle. We appreciate you all. Appreciate your time. And we'll talk to you again very, very soon.
Bye-bye.
Arrivederci.